Hello, and welcome to this third lecture of how to determine CTQs. I am Arun Singhal, your management coach and mentor with 40 years of experience in people development. So, in this section, we have been trying to give you some good understanding of how to determine CTQs, and we started with defining CTQs, and then we talked to you about how could you determine. We started talking about how could you determine CTQs, and in this lecture, we will close this section with giving you in detail a process that can help you understand how to translate customer requirements into product specifications, right? Which is what is called the CTQs. Right. So, what do you think? How do you think we have determined, we have understood what CTQs are, we've also understood how are they related to winning concept, and we are now at a stage where we need to translate into what is called product specifications or CTQs, product CTQs. So, how would you translate those customer requirements into product specifications? Any thoughts? And the process, obviously, we're going to use is the QFD matrix. Right. So you can translate the customer requirements into product specification. First, you need to work in the cross-functional team because customer requirements are generally the domain of marketing, and the product specification is the domain of technical people, the development people, the quality people, the manufacturing people. So you need to sit all together along with finance. So you need to have team of finance, quality, technical people, which is product development, R&D people, manufacturing people, and marketing together working. And if you are leading it from marketing, you need to form that CFT and work through this process. And this process is basically a five-step process in which you start with assembling a focus group of current and potential customers. And then once you assemble these group, you ask them questions which is in line with determining their pain points, and you ask them what are the requirements, like what are the issues that they face with what they're using today, what are the issues that they face, what are they satisfied with, what are their wishes, what they wish they could have from that product, and they could have that regarding the product, right? And you collect all that input, and we will talk in subsequent slides how can we do that actually, and we will show you through an example. Once you collect the customer inputs, then you categorize those inputs, and what does that categorization mean also will be illustrated as we go forward. And the last piece of this whole process is to develop specifications and metrics for those inputs. So the categorized customer inputs you will turn into specification and metrics, product specification metrics that should be produced in the product that you're aiming to develop so that you can satisfy those customer requirements, right? So let's take a look at each of these steps. And I will first like to cluster these three steps together as you see on your screen. And I'm going to run through this whole course from now on with an example of a water purifier from a wonderful book written by Ashok Muthuswamy. He worked on many of the new product development and technical process throughout his career. And he has written a wonderful book called Practitioner Guides to DFSS process for robust product and process development. And I have picked up this example from there to illustrate to you. So first the step what you do is typically the best way it is once you get all of them together in a room and you brief them about what is it that they need to do, and you raise out a couple of questions, you outline all the questions, you probably display on a piece of paper on a board or through a presentation, and then you ask them to jot down what are the issues and what are the wishes, what are the improvements, what are the problems that they face, and what would they like a new product to have on a post-it notes. And you will see why the post-it notes are important in the next slide. And you ask them to write down, keep it with them, and you collect and put it on a whiteboard. As you start collecting them, you start sticking them in any particular order on the whiteboard so that you have a collected inputs from all those people as illustrated in your slide there. Once you have collected the inputs in this post-it notes, then what you do is you categorize these inputs using what is called the affinity diagram process, in which naturally close together inputs you put together start moving the post-it notes on the whiteboard itself and putting them together in specific pieces. For example, what you see here is all these post-it notes have been clubbed into many categories like No bacteria virus, which consists of three post-it notes input. I do not want bacteria. I hate cysts. No microorganisms. No biological manifestations. So that's the kind of input you do. Similarly, the post-it notes that are in category of no metals you put together. I need lead to be filter out the mercury, arsenic to be removed. So that gets clustered into this category of no metals. And like this, there are many categories that you see like soft water, no sediment, crystal clear, fast filling, reliable. And this becomes your bucket of customer requirements that you must meet if you want to introduce a product that will do well. Once you have this categorization done, then what you do is that you develop specification and metrics for those inputs, those buckets of categories, and that you see on your screen again. In the third column, you have all those buckets coming here as customer requirements here. No bacteria, no metals, soft water, no sediments, right? You see that? And then the task is to turn over to actually your technical and QA, R&D people, development people, to translate them into technical language, which is called the specification. And for that, you may be able to do in that session, or you might need them to go back and work on that. And what is important in this is to look at what are the current products that people are using and measure these parameters objectively for them by testing them, putting through the lab mechanisms, lab equipments, and measuring them. And then accordingly, see which are the critical ones, and all those, what kind of specification would you like to set. For example, now if your one of your major requirements from customer is a soft water, because you are in an area that the solubility has to be soft water in terms of drinking, right? So in that case, for the soft water, and if you go back and find the competitive product, they are designed to turn out a water that gives a TDS of about 70 or so, and TSS of 70, sorry. And so then your technical people might say that if you want a significant change in the soft water properties, you must have a TSS less than 50. And that's how these specifications get developed for each of them. So it's a process in which you analyze competition, determine their specifications, looking at the product, doing reverse engineering, and set your own specifications to meet the customer requirements that are set in the third column. And that's how you develop these specifications, and these becomes your CTQs that you take forward, right? So what do we do in the next module? So what we do in the next module is we take these CTQs, the product specification, customer requirements that we developed, and convert into what is called the design requirements in the first QFD1, in the QFD1 process. And how do we do that? That will be the subject of the next sections, turning these CTQs into design requirements. So I hope, thank you so much for watching this lecture. I hope you continue to learn something new and you continue to enjoy. And I look forward to seeing you again shortly in the next lecture.